Hello and welcome along then for round 9 of 11 of the Invictus Racing League Xbox Formula 1 series. We find ourselves tonight at the Marina Bay here in Singapore, where over 1,600 light bulbs illuminate this circuit. It's F1's lone night race of the year. It's a 3.1 mile lap. We'll have 31 laps, 2 DRS zones, and we could see speeds of 205 miles an hour down the long DRS straight through the middle of this track. Has 23 turns, most of which are 90 degrees, but one that isn't 90 degrees is turn 1, where the cars will have to all come together and squeeze their way through the S section that is the introduction to this track. And as you make your way down that long straight, you can head into turn 7. At the end of that long straight, who could we see diving down the inside and potentially risking a front wing or two, or more front wings might be had? The turn 13 hairpin, after you go over the very, very tight bridge, who will look to lunge down the inside and go for a move down another long straight. As far as the tire selection, it's the softest in the Pirelli range. The C3, the C4, and the C5s. The mediums 1.2 seconds slower than the softs. The hards 2 seconds slower than the softs, but we don't think we should see the soft compound of tire at all. It has proven to be not very durable, especially in the high track temperatures we have here in Singapore, in a place where it does rain quite often. Weather could play a factor. The intermediate tires and the wet tires, as always, will be available if we need them. After last week's win, HK extending his lead at the top of the Drivers' Championship by 6.5 points over DJ Danny. And Liverpool Ewan is making a very, very late charge with 2 races after tonight to go for 3rd place. He's 12 points behind James F1 after back-to-back podiums for the Toro Rosso driver. Red Bull on track for a double championship this season, as they now have charged all the way back from what was originally 5th place about 4 or 5 races into the season, now leading the constructors over Racing Point by 5.5 points, and they're the only team to score 20 points or more twice this season, which has really helped them get back to the top. Racing Point are still in that conversation, but it is slipping away from them ever so slowly, and Renault are really starting to drop off as well. And Kendo, Singapore, tough track on the drivers, high concentration. It's a lot like Monaco. It's just a very, very long lap.
It most certainly is, and as you've mentioned about the compound of tyres, it's due to the fact that it's such a high intensity and it's a road track, bear in mind. As you can see on the screens, the different angles, it is a road race and it's going to be quite an interesting one indeed. Like yourself, I would fully expect a one-stop, either going hard to medium or medium to hard, which is what the top 10 drivers I would fully expect trying to do to get on pole position tonight.
Well, if you actually watch Singapore in F1, there's been a safety car in every race.
Very true.
So who might take that chance that the safety car is going to come out and potentially go onto the soft tires? Is we will hop on board with James F1, as he is normally the first one out, so we will just set him up ready to go. But I don't think the soft tires are really going to go much more than 7 or 8 laps.
It's exactly that, because you can already see straight away some drivers have already started setting themselves off on medium hards. Still a few drivers sorting out their setup, and according to our information, we have just been informed qualifying dry, race start dry, then wet 45 minutes in. How's that for a little bit of a mix-up there, Scaretta?
Oh, that could certainly spice things up come the closing stages of this race, especially if we get a safety car, because that will allow those storm clouds to begin to form even sooner during the race and open the heavens, and down comes the rain. but it'll be interesting to see. It's about just over a minute and a half per lap. If you do a little bit of quick math, that puts the rain right at about lap 27 to 28. So we could potentially see a lot of hard runners. You can see on the left side of your screen a ton of drivers out onto the hard tires. I wonder, Kendo, if it's going to be take the hards until the rain. Might be the strategy here.
Could well be, or as we talked about before, some people trying to do bank a lap on them hards and then going onto the medium tyre. One would suspect a few people will gamble on that very strategy you have just referred, while some people will take the normal cautious approach, because as we well know, the rain might not come. Then again, it might come early. That's the gamble the drivers will have to consider tonight.
It'll be very, very interesting to see that rain hits, if this race is prolonged by a safety car, a virtual safety car, or potentially just a whole host of safety cars that we could see. But we do have James F1 in the Racing Point, who's started to drop back in the Drivers' Championship. He hasn't had the best of results, but Kendo, take us for a lap around the Marina Bay circuit.
So, James F1, here we go, as he gets ready. His DRS is activated in hot lap as well, as he goes into turn 1, gets a nice angle into that, which launches him into 2 and 3. Very good drive out of 4. Coming up to the long sweeping right-hander into the long back straight. DRS has been activated. So far so good. The night sky is out in force, and it's a lovely clear sky for this qualifying indeed. At the moment, James F1 still looking going strong. Long sweeping left-hander, using as much of the road as he possibly can. And we've talked about that risk reward, and so far he's risking a lot here to try and get a good reward here. Lost the back end ever so slightly. Gets in lovely and tight, uses that extra rotation of the car, moving up into gear number 1 for that tiny bit more rotation on the car. Purple sector 1 as it currently stands. So far so good. Coming into sector 3 now, the very technical part of this track here, coming underneath the bridge there, as they're making their way around towards the last few corners. Using as much track as he possibly can, nearly touches the wall. And there you have it, he crosses the line and sets quite a good start on a 1:37.4 with HRC just behind him, and Peel and Rimac as well, closely followed.
There's a whole host of cars about to come across the line as well, one of them being an Alfa Romeo. Looks like Murphy 138.3, so comparatively, at least so far, James F1 with a fantastic banker lap as it stands, a 137.4 from him. The next closest to 137.9. Well, on board with Miles as it stands, but he's invalidated his lap, pulling out of the way. And Zerk has actually gone up into second place for a Williams team that just has not had fortune go their way this season. Should he be in that position? He is on the medium tires, still finding himself almost 4/10 adrift of James F1, just kind of showing you the gap between the drivers, just in terms of the raw pace that they have. Hasn't been ideal for Williams this season. We're on board with Jamie 29 in the Mercedes now, who's on the hard tires on his first flying lap of the session. You see him turning that car, a little bit of oversteer, getting just a little bit out of shape. You run such high downforce around the Marina Bay that it can be a little bit alarming when you get a little bit of oversteer. And, that is the case there. Ryan 97 up in the 5th. DJ Danny 6th place for him. The Renault, his teammate, over in 8th. Invictus F1 Maniac in the Toro Rosso in 9th, Scartrix in 10th. Plenty of cars a little bit out of place. It's Jamie Roddy on the soft tires, 137.2, but is nowhere near blasting away from James F1. That's only about 0.2 of a second of a gap, which is not at all going to really help him out at the end of the day.
It's exactly that, and it's all about that consistency in the car. As James Roddy, surprisingly enough, has gone out on the softs and he set a 137.2. And that's quite a surprise, setting that sort of time, and especially on the softs. As we know, the softs don't usually last that long. But I can see we are currently on board with Sir Sharks here, on the hard compound tyre. Let's see how he can do, considering him and his teammate are currently battling in the Constructors, currently P2 in the Constructors, 6 points behind, well 6.5 really, so he's got quite a bit to catch up. As we can see, purple sector 2, so very aggressive.
He set a fastest sector 1 as well. Could we be on for quite the lap here from Sir Sharks and the other Racing Point? Yellow flags, looks like just for a Mercedes, hopping out of the way of the Williams. You can see on the map there on the right side of your screen, but Sir Sharks coming through this DHL section of the track of the 3rd sector, extremely wide, nearly going nose first into the wall as he rounds the final corner. Sir Sharks up into 3rd place, so you can just see that a little bit unsettled, the Racing Point, out of that final section of the track. But meanwhile, HK has actually come right behind Sir Sharks and jumped him in the standings. HK 137.4. Jamie Roddy still holding pole position by about 0.2 of a second. I'm wondering, this is a lot like Monaco, a place that we'll visit in a couple weeks' time. I'm just curious as if that's going to just be a track position gamble. I can't figure out what other reason he would go onto soft tires, especially this early in the qualifying session.
No, neither can I, to be honest with you. Could have potentially have been a mistake on his part. Has he thought he's gone out on the wrong tyre? For the standard of this league, I don't think it's been a mistake, like you say, but it looks like it's going to be for track position. However, them softs will not last that long. However, could he be thinking about the rain? Is he looking to do two-stop, going onto the mediums for a little while, hold out the mediums for as long as he can for when the rain does come? But that could be a consideration for him as well, as we are jumping on board with Ewan.
And yeah, another driver on the soft tires, Liverpool Ewan. Toro Rosso has had back-to-back second places for the first time this season. That has helped him begin to make that late charge that we mentioned earlier for that 3rd place. He's been a very consistent performer all season. He's holding that in here. Fastest first sector. PJ in the McLaren, 137.1. So the first of the medium runners starting to even out the soft runners as well. But I highly doubt that Liverpool Ewan, a man of his ability, is going to let that stand for long. We could see Toro Rosso on pole in this situation with under 8 minutes to go. As he powers through this long back straight. Comes through here now, 180 miles an hour that Toro Rosso reached as he swoops into the final sector in a very, as you mentioned, a very technical section. It's right-hander after left-hander after right-hander. As you make your way back around to the start-finish line, we have looks like more drivers starting to come out for their second stints, and with about 7 minutes to go as he gets very out of shape coming through the penultimate corner. Toro Rosso of Liverpool Ewan up into pole position by almost 2 seconds. That is a fantastic time from Liverpool Ewan, but just remember, it's on the soft tires. But how much could track position play in this race?
very much so, but as we already know, sometimes the information that the drivers receive can get a little bit mixed up on the grid, and the rain could come early. Could it be the drivers that are on the softs looking at the likelihood that the rain could come early? It's done it in the past. It's a gamble, but sometimes, as we've mentioned, risk for reward, and that could be potentially one of the strategies these guys are looking at playing out today.
Yeah, one of the two drivers yet to set a lap. Both Ferraris have yet to set a lap. We're on board with one of them here as he set a fastest middle sector and has actually planted it straight into the wall. It looked like he hit the inside wall and then pinged out onto the outside. He was on for a fantastic lap for a Ferrari team that probably has not lived up to some people's expectations this season. Into the pits goes one Ferrari, and out of the pits comes another. Leclerc, who's about to start his first lap. It seems like there's a lack of downforce in these Ferrari-powered cars. They cannot get the rear ends to stick in those cars. But Leclerc, fastest first sector, so the track evolution really starting to come into play here. But again, just a little mistake, it seems, just hooking that curb. Takes that turn very, very well. The Ferrari on for a pretty good lap as he dives through this middle sector. Well, took extreme liberties with that corner, and that will end that lap for now. James F1 also starting his lap. He's in 7th place currently, under 5 minutes to go in the qualifying session, and immediately he takes that fastest first sector away from Leclerc as he heads into middle sector down this nice little short straight. You see him now 178 miles an hour. He's able to get in that racing point. It seems like it has a fantastic combination of downforce and straight line speed. That Mercedes engine is giving it every little ounce of RPM to throw into that racing point. Fastest middle sector as well on the medium tires. Could he go faster than Liverpool Ewan, who holds the pole time on the softs, who has stayed in the pit lane for now, and we will have to wait and see what happens in the closing 4 minutes of qualifying. Over the bridge he goes into the DHL section now. Takes as much of that curb as he can, coming through the final 2 corners. James F1 up into 2nd place, 0.3 of a second off of Liverpool Ewan. A great lap from him, which now puts the Toro Rosso under extreme pressure.
Very interesting indeed, because we'll have a few people that are currently making their way around on track. One for sure, you've got the likes of Sergio, DJ Danny, you've got Miles, you've got HK, all preparing. Well, as we are currently with DJ Danny, who is in Sector 2, looking like he's getting himself, I was just about to say, getting ready to get himself into the high-end section, but he's earned the engine down. So, don't know what's gone on there. Potentially going for the lap after this one, or going in for a set of hards. We just don't know yet.
Well, potentially he could be. He may have just invalidated his lap, or felt that he invalidated his lap. It wasn't quite up to par for his standards, but he has no worries as of now. He has about 2.5 seconds, or 2.5 minutes rather, to get back around to the start-finish line. Wazirk has ended his qualifying in 5th place. That would be a fantastic qualifying for Williams to have one of their drivers up into the top 5 should things stay as they are. So DJ Danny is ready to start his lap yet again. You see him all the way up into overtake, going extremely wide, trying to get as much speed down this pit straight as he possibly can. We've seen some drivers go way out onto that yellow and the curb to try to get a better entry into this first section of the track, but we don't see that here. DJ Danny holding it onto the tarmac as he comes around into the very, very quick and very well, bent in some ways middle straight as he 7. You just tell that something the Renaults have just not had what they needed. Ryan 7 pole position as it stands with 1:20 to go. 1:35.2. James F1 has ended his qualifying in the pit lane as well. He sits 3rd currently. Wonderful Ewan, another set of soft tires for him. He's going to have to make up just a few hundredths of a second on his lap should he want to take pole position, get that extra point here in qualifying. He begins his lap. He's trying to find who all is about to come across the line on timed laps. That is kind of the key as of now. See him going through there. He just has so much grip with those soft tires. He's going to be following a Red Bull, getting a little bit of a tow from him as well. Fastest first sector from him. Liverpool Ewan just with about 25 thousandths of a second that he needs to make up on his lap. We'll have hoped the track has gained a little bit of grip and that he can ease those soft tires through this lap and still take pole position, because he knows surely that those soft tires are not going to last him very long. This is a track position gamble here as he makes his way around the hairpin a little bit tentatively in the Toro Rosso. Comes through now. Ricardo looks like he's failed to set a lap, and that, it could work out in his favor, because if he's avoiding some turn 1 carnage, as HRC goes fastest, 1:34.7 from the McLaren. We're still watching Liverpool Ewan now. Maniac retired from the session. His qualifying is over. Can Liverpool Ewan give as a time? He'll be following, looks like HK, who's in front of him as he comes across the line. Liverpool Ewan up into pole position. The Red Bulls 3rd and 4th. We still have Jamie Roddy, it looks like, on a lap of his own, coming through the final sector. Qualifying has finished. Everybody who crosses the line now will have their qualifying ended. Looks like now Jamie Roddy is the final car to come across the line. Can he break his way into the top 10? He has to find about 1.2 seconds. Coming across the line, he has not been able to do so. 1:37.2 is the best that the Haas was able to do. And it looks like, unless DJ Danny has something to say about it, if he is still on a lap, it doesn't look like he does. He's peeled into the pit lane. That will be how qualifying ends. I'm trying to still figure out a strategy on the softs, because if you're going for track position, you would have gone on the hards and just gone as fast as you can.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same as you. A bit puzzled why people have chosen them softs, but bear in mind it's only the top 10. So you've got Liverpool Ewan and HRC, the only drivers that have to stay on them tyres. You've got the likes of Jamie, who did set a time on the softs, but didn't quite make the grade. He gets a choice of tyres. We'll see how the race pans out.
Here is how the grid looks then. As you can see now, Liverpool Ewan on pole position for Toro Rosso, trying to make it 3 podiums in a row for him. HRC joins alongside him. Both of them, as you mentioned, starting on the soft compound of tires. It's an all Red Bull second row. Ryan 97 and HK will start side by side. James F1 and Scartrix will share the 3rd row. DJ Danny will have an Alfa Romeo for company alongside him, and DXT Miles and Murphy will have the other Renault next to him, rounding out the top 10. Matt Swainus, 11th place for Mercedes, has just gotten ahead of Lazark in the Williams, and PJ and Jamie Roddy 13th and 14th for them. Sir Sharks, disappointing qualifying for him, down in 15th place. He joins Fairmoto on that roll. RS F1 Maniac has Jamie 29 for company, and the final row of the grid is wrapped up by Leclerc and Ricciardo, both Ferraris, starting 19th and 20th, and that is not ideal, is it?
No, it's not indeed. However, with that, he could be looking at the likelihood of trying to do the alternate strategy, as we've talked about, going on to the hard. But you did see a few of the drivers try to get into the top 10 with them hards. Didn't quite make it. But it's going to be interesting to see what sort of strategies they do. Because sometimes you get intel on the grid whether the rain's going to come early or if it's going to come late. And that could make a deciding factor on the people that get the choice of tyres.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see exactly when this rain hits, because if it doesn't hit until the final few laps, we could easily see some drivers just elect to stay out. But I'm wondering how much risk that would be in order to just really keep the car on the track, because the walls are extremely unforgiving around here. You make one mistake, you find yourself with a front wing or a front wheel missing even.
Very true, and especially when you are pushing in Sector 2, that the limit of that car, you can definitely lose it, and it's going to be interesting when once the rain comes. Have the drivers set themselves up for the dry, or have they set themselves up for the rain? In the rain, we'll only find out once the race gets underway, because we've got 20 seconds until the formation lap.
Looks like everybody beginning to ready up as they should. Nobody with the unfortunate false start, which we have seen quite a few times this season, so no one will have penalties applied other than what they acquired last week. There were a few penalties handed out as we start this formation. You can see the Toro Rosso and the McLaren starting on that front row. I'm going to be interested to see, Kendo, because it could be very, very interesting, especially in the closing stages of the race, to see exactly where they are in relation to their strategy, because if it works out, they could easily find themselves into the top 5. A well-timed safety car, even if there's collision at the first corner, it could pay off for them.
100%, and it just goes to show that if you are aware on track, keep your nose out of trouble, be aware of everyone around you. Sometimes sitting a little bit back and waiting for your drivers around you, trying to force moves that are potentially not there, can gain you that extra track advantage. And at the same time, will safety cars come out? As you mentioned at the start of the commentary, in every single IRL F1 there has been a safety car. Let's see if it's true tonight.
As they begin to head into the final sector, I wonder if the Ferraris may have strategically started from the back, because it hasn't. It's happened a few times where Leclerc has started from the back and has found his way moving up the field because of cars either crashing out or taking wings from each other, or just unfortunate. He's benefiting from other drivers' misfortune.
It's exactly that, and considering the fact that Liverpool Ewan is currently P4 in the standings, as we've mentioned about why he's on the soft tyre, he could be looking at trying to pull out a massive advantage for when the rain does come. However, the softs don't last that long. So we'll find out if that strategy works for Liverpool. However, the rest of the drivers could be trying to play it a little bit safe, but we'll only find out once this race gets underway. The rest of the cars are starting to line up. The final few drivers are just making their way to the back of the grid. So lights out in the next couple of seconds.
I hope that their tires are warm, their engines are cool, which is somewhat counterproductive in a few ways as the lights come on. Here we have 5 lights. And we're racing here in Singapore. A lot of wheel spin in the field. You can see a Haas already off to a great start. The racing point is an Alfa Romeo. Dives down the inside as they all make their way. And then it is an Alfa Romeo that has been spun around. The yellow flag already out. It looks like they've already made it through. Turns 1 and 2 clean. James F1 into 4th position over HK, who's fallen down into 6th. Holding on to that 1st position as of now, but HRC has Ryan 97 all over the back of him. Looks like a Red Bull trying to go down the inside of DJ Danny, but as things head through the end of the 1st sector, looks like only Miles has lost out. He's all the way down into 20th and last place with Liverpool U and HRC, Ryan 97, James F1. As things stand, the Ferraris are starting to get past a Toro Rosso as well. You wonder if he was involved in that incident as well. You can see through here over the bridge, they're just so tight heading through now this hairpin. James F1 is starting to really get onto the back of the Red Bull as well. The 2 at the front now have about a 1 second lead over the cars behind as they start to file their way around into the 3rd sector. They are very tense at the back. It's probably the best way to put it, because it is very bumper to bumper still as they head through the 3rd sector. They approach the DHL section. You can see a bit of front wing has been lost. Is that on a Williams? I think it might have been. That's on a Haas as well. So Jamie Roddy, after holding pole position at one point in qualifying, is missing some left. End plate of McLaren is there into the wall. That's put a Mercedes off as well. You can see plenty of front wings being just scattered around the track. Ricardo all the way from 20th position up into 16th now. He's made up 4 positions on the opening lap, and those on the soft tires really starting to pull away now from the rest of the pack. 1 second gap from Ryan 97 to HRC in front of him, and HK and DJ Danny. This is a battle we've seen before. Danny defending the inside, HK giving a little tap in the wing to just let him know that he's there. Will he have a little lunge? And again, not this time the Red Bull stays in that 5th position, but you can just see already wings are flying around. Doesn't look like anybody in the top 5 has found their wing missing as of yet. We have a yellow flag for, it looks like a Mercedes of Jamie 29, has found himself spun the wrong way or in the wall, but James F1 starting to get onto the back of Ryan 97 now. As we mentioned beforehand, he had a very good start, but Ryan 97 doing everything he can to hold that racing point at bay, where track position is extremely important around this Marina Bay circuit. As we are about to end the 2nd lap here in Singapore. We haven't had a safety car yet. We've had plenty of front wings flying, plenty of incidents, but nothing to speak of yet. Now the battle for the lead between Ewan and HRC, who both started on the soft. Ewan just getting a little bit out of shape heading out of the penultimate corner there, as that might open the door for the McLaren, and it doesn't matter. Liverpool Ewan 140.8 is the benchmark on the soft tires, as DRS is now enabled. As we're on lap 3 here around Marina Bay. Sir Sharks and the Williams of Ozark are about to start dueling this one out through the S section. As you can just see the grit that Sir Sharks has over the Williams, who has his teammate behind him, but he doesn't look like he's going to be able to do much good thing, as HRC is now dueling with Liverpool U, and after DRS down main straight, you see, but that has opened the door for Ryan 97 to come right back at those who started on the soft tires, and the understeer that HRC got might allow Ryan 97 down the inside. Not this time around, as he actually picks up a 3-second time penalty for even having a look. And Jimmy 29, PJ 78 into the pit lane as well. Fresh medium tires for the Mercedes, and I assume it would be either medium or hard tires for the McLaren, but Ryan 97 still all over the back of the McLaren, sits in 2nd place. HRC with, I believe it's a 4 position penalty that he will have to endure tonight. So even if he wins the race, he can only finish in 4th place. He'd have to concede 4 positions as we are about to come to the conclusion of the opening 3 laps. Kendo, it's been very bumper to bumper as we want to end lap number 3.
Certainly is. The battles that have been going on have been in little pockets at the moment, as we are currently on board with the front 3 of Ryan, HRC and Liverpool Ewan. James F1's just starting to get in on the action. He wants a piece of the action here as well. So looks like they're going to have a little battle as well. Further down the field you do have CJ Murphy and...
Wouldn't hold that thought. It was around the outside. Goes Ryan 97. DRS enabled. The rear wing opened up and blasting past the McLaren. Red Bull up into 2nd place.
Nice move indeed, and it just goes to show the tyre strategies could be starting to pay off for the medium runners. Soft tyre, as we've mentioned, does not last for very long, so I've looked at things for Gamble. That was to try and go on the soft. The HRC is not paying off indeed.
Surfsharks has gained 5 positions on the opening couple of laps. Miles is not benefited in much the same way. It's down 6, but he got that move done on RS F1 Maniac. So up into 14th, and if you remember, Miles was the Alfa Romeo facing the wrong way at one point in the opening corner. He has come back and, after qualifying in 8th place, has regained 14th position in the Alfa Romeo. So we'll be hoping he can make his way even farther back up the field. As it look like HRC now into the pit lane, picks up 5-second penalty for speeding. Is not exactly what we wanted to see from the McLaren. As he into the pit lane he goes, hard compound tires on. I'm wondering, Kendo, could he potentially make it to the end of this race? Let's actually hold that thought. Ryan 97 gearing up for another move as he looks around the outside. DRS wide open. This one might not be as straightforward. The Toro Rosso and the Red Bull going wheel to wheel, and it looks like Ryan 97 now has the lead of this race. It was a fantastic move from the Red Bull driver, but now Liverpool Ewan is starting to get left behind as James F1 finds himself all over that Honda gearbox now. DJ Danny apparently has also had an invitation to the party, because you can see him there in the background starting to gain time on the racing point. It's going to be very important for James F1, DJ Danny, and HK now to clear Liverpool Ewan to get onto the back of Ryan 97, who has already pulled almost 7/10. It is now 7/10 of a second of a gap to the Toro Rosso. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these strategies play out. But in the early stages of this race, it looks like the medium tires look like the tire to be on.
Yeah, 100%, because that's what we were referring to at the start of the race. We fully expected people to do medium to hard in a normal dry track. However, we do know the rain is going to be a factor in this race. How soon does it come? That we'll only find out when it decides to show up. But as you can see, we've got James F1 trying to get the move done on Liverpool. Even DRS is wide open. DRS all the way up the hot lap. Trying to go around the outside, get the move done.
An identical move to Ryan 97. Will DJ Danny have a little look at the Toro Rosso as well? He got very out of shape coming onto the turn before the long main straight, but managed to keep at least the Renault at bay for now. How long he stays there, only time will tell, but he elected to stay out on the soft compound of tires. I'm not entirely sure that might have been the brightest move from Liverpool Ewan. Jimmy 29 into the pit lane as well, presumably for wing damage. We saw a Mercedes wing as we have it looks like he's actually coming to the pits to retire. So our first retirement of the race is Jamie 29 into the pit lane as DJ Danny looking to square up a move now onto the Toro Rosso. You see he doesn't exactly have the same drive in that Toro Rosso that he had in qualifying in the opening couple of laps in this race, as DJ Danny is nearly just pushing him around the DHL section. You can see very wide goes the Toro Rosso, and now into the pit lane goes Liverpool Ewan, putting DJ Danny and HK up into 3rd and 4th, and Rimac has found his way into 5th place as well. So a very good start from the Renaults, which started the season so haven't quite done the same since, but the gap from 1st to 2nd, 1.8 seconds, 1.7 at times, and we're still on board watching this battle between DJ Danny and HK. HK with DRS is going to elect to go for the outside line. Will he send a move here? DJ Danny showing him as little of the track as he possibly can, but HK's not going to have any of that. Down the inside goes the Red Bull. They bang wheels 2-3 times, and DJ Danny shrugging that Honda Red Bull aside. And now HK, is he going to come back at the Renault again? They bang wheels yet again, and another times. They're almost hooked wheels now. They are nearly collecting each other around this middle sector. The Renault holding on to 3rd position for now, but HK surely going to come back at him later, just letting him know he didn't like the amount of wheel banging going on. It looks like now HK has backed off ever so slightly, willing to fight another day in that Red Bull. It doesn't look like either driver took damage from that, but that was certainly a lot of wheel banging between the two.
Certainly was, and by the looks of things, HK is potentially setting himself up for a DRS detection zone. Because watching Danny, he seems to get a little bit loose in the tight corners, and could HK be trying to set himself up to be at his optimum speed when DJ Danny gets in them sections? We'll only find out once he gets there, because it could well be the pressure HK is putting on DJ Danny is making him think about where HK is. Scarchick, as you can see, just got a 3-second time penalty for multiple ones, or down in 6th position for him. He's not having a good time of it as well.
Well, 6/10 is the gap, and rapidly closing from DJ Danny to HK. See, he just is recharging those batteries ever so slightly and is doing everything he can. Meanwhile, down the field, Murphy has lost a few positions, is wheel to wheel with a Williams, and holds on to that 9th position after the DRS straight ever so slightly. More wheel banging going on as Murphy finds himself in a Williams sandwich as it looks as of now. Can Ferramoto help out his teammate to get past the Alfa Romeo? Only time will tell, because Ferramoto has gained about a full second over Murphy in the Alfa Romeo. You can see the hard tires are really starting to come to life, but just as I say that, Sir Sharks on the hard tires has dropped about 4, now make it 0.5 of a second to Scartrix in front of him. So it seems still with 20 laps to go, we're on lap 8 of 31. The medium tires look to be the prime tires as of now.
Yeah, exactly that. And as we talk about prime tires, HK looks as though he's just about to make his way in the pit, so DJ Danny has a little bit of relief there. The pressure's now taken off him, and he's got a clear bit of track. At the moment, CJ Murphy seems to have a little bit of a train going on behind him. However, you're just seeing a few people dive into the pit just behind. So at the moment, just CJ Murphy and Leclerc battling it out.
He is now all over the back of the Alfa Romeo. He will have DRS down this back straight. And what kind of grip can that Williams find to blast himself past the Alfa Romeo? He dives to the outside, DRS wide open. That was pretty elementary from the Williams. He had the move done before the corner, well before the corner. He's already got himself almost a 0.5 second lead over the Alfa Romeo that was in front of him, now behind him. You can see the medium tires are now starting to fall off. We've seen a few stops. HK has gone on to the hard tires. We've seen Miles go on to the hard tires as well. And how important is it now for the likes of HK and Miles to clear all of these hard tire runners, because they're going to be more or less all in the way, because Sir Shark's Faramoto all the way up into 6th and 7th place. That's going to be a little bit of ground to cover.
Yeah, very true. Due to the fact that, as I said, we've had to make a slightly unorthodox hit time. I would fully expected the window to be around about lap 9 or 10, so he did look to try and get the undercut. And this is where, battling through the traffic, he has to do. If he gets it right, he can pay off massively, but if he doesn't, it could hinder him, because as we can see, DJ Danny's in the pit, so let's see if he can get out in time. Same with James F1. HK is coming round the home straight. Are we going to get out?
This could be a battle here. HK has gotten ahead of DJ Danny, courtesy of the Red Bull pit crew. He has completed the undercut of the Renault, and James F1 also finding himself on the losing end of those pit stops as well. He's 2.7 seconds adrift of those two drivers. You see Liverpool Ewan and Leclerc battling it out for that final points position. Toro Rosso up into 10th place. He's making the strategy work so far. Remember, he had pole position, pitted off of the soft tires, and now on the hards. He's going to have to ask quite a bit of these hard tires to get him to the end of this race.
Very true indeed. Bear in mind, the rain is due to come at some stage. Depends on when that rain actually does come. If it does come late into the race, Liverpool Ewan is going to have a lot of issues when it comes to the end of the race with his tyre life. Once again, it's all just speculation, and in theory, what's going to happen? At the moment, we're currently lap 11, and we're on board here with Matt, who is trying to catch up to Miles. Interesting indeed. Matt's on 5 lap old mediums, and Miles with a fresh set of rubber on the hards. Is Miles going to try and pull away from him, or can Matt try and catch him back up?
Position changes are flying around. Ryan 97 now finding himself behind Liverpool Ewan, so the strategy, Kendo, looks like it's worked. The Toro Rosso has found himself back ahead of the Red Bull.
Certainly is. We know the pace that he does have within his driving style, but will his tyres be able to last? That's going to be the question. Yes, he's got track position at the moment, but when it comes to the crunch time at the end of the race, when that rain is coming down and they need that extra grip, will he have it at the end? That's the question that we'll only find out at the end of the race.
A nice little helicopter shot here of the Ferrari of Leclerc. He had HK overtake him down one of the straights and find himself down into 11th place as he ran extremely wide into the hairpin. Now has DJ Danny all over the back of it, and you see even 10-lap-old tires. The Ferrari struggling to keep those tires just with any grip at all, as he has understeer coming out of that corner, and the Renault has really climbed onto the back of the Ferrari. I can only imagine it'll be either this straight or the next, is now plenty of pit stops are made. Murphy into the pit lane, Scartrix into the pit lane as well. James F1, I believe it was, now sets the fastest lap from Leclerc up into 9th, but DJ Danny is going to have the benefit of DRS down this middle straight. You just wonder how much will the Ferrari fight what is probably a losing battle at the end of the day. DJ Danny tucking in behind for that slipstream. They're going to go wheel to wheel. Going through here, Leclerc peeling to the inside. That move done before the corner. DJ Danny up into ninth place as HRC may have had himself an incident, and he has indeed. The virtual safety car has been deployed. I don't think it might have just been an incident all on his own, but he's missing plenty of that front wing.
Yeah, a lot of damage has been sustained on that car. This could open up a major opportunity for people who are near the pit and see PJ pitting in right now. By looks of things, he should really go onto the hard compound tyre, but instead it's actually the soft. Ooh, is there the likelihood of rain coming very shortly? That's a question.
The question indeed. It should come out with about 7 laps to go, I think is what we calculated, but the virtual safety car is in. And HRC is going to have to pit once more, but he's holding up DJ Danny, who has the move done into the corner. The Ferrari now getting held up as the Ferrari. This could be an interesting situation. More front wing being lost. I believe that was on the Racing Point, who's lost an end plate as the McLaren was trying to get into the pit lane, but had a Ferrari to contend with in front of him. So I'm not really sure if anybody's really in the wrong there, but nevertheless, James F1 has front end plate damage. Looks like he wants to come in this lap anyway to fix that damage. Leclerc is 12 laps on the hard tire. Rimac here ever so shortly, climbing all over the back of him. We'll pull you into the pits yet again, as is HRC. So the two drivers who were on the softs at one point now have elected to go on to the mediums. That's not going to get them to the end. The mediums are going to fall off rather quickly, I would think, Kendall.
Yeah, once again, it wouldn't be the question of have they been getting the information from Jeff? Is the rain going to be coming soon? Because that would have taken their consideration into play. If the rain was supposed to... Oh,
Ryan 97 trying to get a move done on RSF1. Maniac has that move done. It was greatly teed up. He wants to go down the inside, put the Toro Rosso off his line, capitalized on the next corner. Ryan 97 back up into 4th place.
Extremely good move there, and starting to pull a little bit of a gap. Because bear in mind, Ryan Mack is on 12 lap old tyres, and Ryan 97 is on them fresh 3 lap old tyres. And it looks like there's about to be a little battle building up here between Leclerc, Ryan Mack, and Scartrix. Ooh, this could be a tasty one.
Scartrix, I have looked to go down the inside. As we're watching this battle, another thing that we said last week was the Williams in the lead of the race. Now we have a Williams 2nd and 3rd place. They have yet to make their pit stops, but they are certainly in a good point scoring position, especially if the rain comes out with about 7 laps to go. And now Rimac down the outside. Can Scartrix maybe take another position, as well as Leclerc might lose 2 places in one? He does so indeed. Rimac into 9th place, Scartrix in the 10th, Leclerc down now into 11th position. Great driving from Renault and the Haas. Just hung Leclerc up to dry, who's done 13 laps, has yet to stop on those hard tires. You can just see the difference and how fast, Kendo, these hard tires are falling off.
It's exactly that, considering he's on 13 lap old tyres. It just goes to show Singapore is absolutely unforgiving on these tyres, which is why you have to play the long game in Singapore. At the moment, you can clearly see off the deltas, Leclerc is falling by the wayside. It looks like there's a battle getting ready to hot up here with Maniac and HK.
HK got the move done on Maniac, another driver who has yet to pick, and his teammate Ryan 97, 140.6, but now Maniac will certainly get gobbled up by the Renault as he goes down the inside as DJ Danny. fairly easy from the Renault up into 6 for him. Maniac has been dropped in about the span of 2 sectors, down 2 positions into 7th place, and Scartrix and Rymac are still going to battle this one out for 9th place. As Liverpool Ewan, fastest lap, 139.1 from him. As you can see now, this 3-way battle is still continuing as Rymac down the side of James F1. That was a fantastic move from the Renault, and Scartrix is now going to have to navigate the racing point as well to try to figure out where to slot himself in. You can see there the racing point actually carrying, he's missing both front end plates, so missing quite a bit of downforce is that racing point. You wonder if that is just adding to his misery here. He was caught up with that incident with, I believe it was the McLaren trying to get into the pit lane. Now the Haas looking to go down the inside. Not much James F1's going to be able to do about this one. He's been shown all the way to the outside. Scartrix up into 9th position. And you wonder now if James F1 almost has to come into the pit lane, change that front wing, because he's losing plenty of time. Now PJ has retired in the pit lane. HK has left the session. You wonder if that's just a very unfortunate disconnect, as it looks like it is, but it won't bother DJ Danny much because it will allow him to just gain a ton of time on the Red Bull and try to find his way up into the top 5 once more. Now you see DJ Danny along the outside, and HK's we presume bot is holding on there, is lost the position, and looks like Maniac has peeled into the pit lane as well. Doesn't look like anybody's scheduling for the rain, Kendo, but about 6 laps to go. The intermediate tires could be needed.
It's exactly that, and that's what a lot of the drivers who are currently at the fronty with 15 lap wall tyres, looks like that's going to be what they will have to pit on, because it doesn't look like the rain is going to come. But as we know, sometimes the rain just suddenly hammers down, but as it currently stands, no rain has come overcast as of yet.
Whip out all the defensive tools that he knows to keep the Haas behind, and he's done so here yet again at the end of this straight. Ryan 97 now splitting the Williams, got past Zerk, and now up into 3rd place for at least one of the Red Bulls. So you just wonder when HK can find his way back into the session as he, just as I say that, he is rejoined once more. I feel like every time I say something, it typically happens straight after, or just the opposite. You get the idea. We're still watching Rymac and Scartrix battle this one out, and HK, who looks now back in control of his kart, has found himself in 6th place. Rymac might actually have a little look at the Red Bull. He's peeled to the inside. Rymac holding that outside line. He's going to look to have a switch back at the Red Bull. It doesn't look like he does now, but Scartrix might be the beneficiary of this entirely. They're 3 wide as they head down into turn 7. It looks like Rymac is going to have a little look at Scartrix, who made 2 positions work into 1. But now HK has fallen down into 8th place, and Rymac, who thought he was going to get past just the Red Bull, has been passed by the Haas as well. So not entirely what he wanted. Back at the front, Ryan 97 starting to really hop onto the back of Ferramoto. At the same time, this could all really work out for Sir Sharks, who's peeled a 5.5 second gap between himself and the Williams. And could that be the Red Bull now? They're still wheel to wheel heading through this 3rd sector. Someone's going to have to give up over the bridge. It's Williams down the inside, hits the inside wall, and well, he's lost quite a bit of his front wing. It looks like Ryan 97 has kept himself clean, but he's getting really held up now by the Williams, who peels into the pit lane to fix that wing damage. A little bit too aggressive from Ferramoto to try to hold on to 2nd position, but that has really benefited Sir Sharks, because in the middle of that, we mentioned he had a 5.5 second advantage over second place. It's now up to 7 seconds is that lead. And you can just see there's the Racing Point losing ground, but this could work out in the end. This whole one-stop strategy and trying to pit for strategy in the rain could really work out at the end of the day. It looks like HK back in command of his car, down the inside of a position he lost previously. Back up in the 6th place goes the Red Bull.
And that was, as we were saying, a very unfortunate disconnection issue from HK, but he's now in a position to try and battle back and catch up to Scartrix and DJ Danny. But as I say, one man's luck is going to benefit someone else. Well, one person's misfortune, someone else's luck. That's what I was supposed to be saying there. And Scartrix and DJ Danny have blown off into the night.
Speaking of DJ Danny, he's ever so slightly beginning to close in on what is now the lead. Williams of Berserk, who's into 3rd place. He's yet to pit. As you can see, DJ Danny, a bit of oversteer in that Renault, is having to drift his way around one of the corners as he is back onto the main straight now. As he would have had DRS, but because of that little snap of oversteer, fell out of the 1 second range that you have to be in to get the advantage of the drag reduction system. That rear wing opening up wide and allowing about 10 to 15 extra miles an hour down some of the straights and some parts of the track as he begins his hunt of Berserk yet again. He's far too a ways back in that Renault as we're now watching Leclerc and Miles square off for 9th place. Miles has the move ways done before the corner. So slightly wide, but he holds the position. The Alfa Romeo up into 9th place. His teammate has fallen down in the 12th, so he's almost made up his original qualifying position after finding himself turned the wrong way at one point. But Leclerc's teammate Ricardo into the pit lane. Will he be putting on? It's a set of medium tires for the Ferrari. He will look to potentially head to the end of this race. Liverpool, Ewan, and Leclerc now. Could Leclerc lose yet another position? He does indeed. With Toro Rosso up into the top 10 once more. But we have another battle brewing up at the front for Berserk and DJ Danny, who's 0.3 of a second behind the Williams, and now on the penultimate corner. Now the final corner is the Williams is extremely out of shape heading through there. And DJ Danny isn't going to have a second invitation to go for the move. DJ Danny up into the podium positions once more. And Liverpool Ewan is really making a charge through the field. DXT Miles got very out of shape in the last corner. And Toro Rosso just taking advantage of that, saying thank you very much. 9th place will be mine. And he does have that position indeed. And Berserk is now beginning to pay the price for almost 20 laps on the hard tires. The Scartrix on his 8-lap-old mediums starting to catch up once more. But you wonder, how long will those medium tires last? I don't think, Ken, they're going to get to the end of the race, but hold that thought for a second. Scartrix may have had a look down the inside, but not that time around.
No, exactly that is what you were referring to with the tyres. If they do try to hold out, that would be an amazing drive, but like to go that far at the moment. Scartrix looking to get a move done on Leclerc, goes around the outside. Job done to P4.
Is that move done? He's going to have to make up a couple more positions because he's, I don't think he's going to be able to stay out and take those medium tires at the end of the race. Remember, the medium runners that started on the medium tire pitted around lap 11 or 12, so he's going to have to come in eventually. Now, Sir Sharks has come into the pit lane. He's done 20 laps on the hard tires. You just wonder what tires might he be going on. It looks like mediums will go on to the racing point. Away he goes, and James F1 having to contend and now concede the position to Liverpool Ewan, who's back up into 7th place. And Sir Sharks is going to find himself coming back out onto the track. Looks like now into 11th place, but let's see here. Just trying to figure out the different strategies, because it doesn't look like anybody has really planned for the rain, but if I've done my math correctly, it should come out at about 3 or 4 laps time.
Yeah, and I'm keeping an eye on to see when that rain does come down. And that's going to be the question: how heavy will it come down? If it's light rain, then the driver should be able to make it all the way on the slick tyres. However, it does look like, as we are jumping on board here with DJ Danny, who's trying to gain on Ryan, but has to be aware of Scartrix, who is gaining and gaining all the time on their medium tyres compared to DJ Danny's 11-lap-old hard tyres. Let's see how this strategy will plan out for Scartrix.
The man who's just peeled into the pit lane is still gaining on the man who has yet to peel into the pit lane of Leclerc. And Sir Sharks has just so much more grip. He's going to have to... Oh, and Miles has found himself, it looks like, into the wall, and the virtual safety car deployed yet again. That has come out right about... It's right about the bridge section, isn't it? We're going to see if Jamie Roddy can give us a good view of it before his car disappears, and it has gone away now. James F1 into the pit lane. That could be a very, very well-timed virtual safety car for him. And you wonder if Leclerc would have liked to have gone into the pit lane, but the virtual safety car is now... I don't know if you're seeing this. It looks like the first few drops starting to fall on this Marina Bay circuit.
Yes, indeed. I was on board having just confirmation, riding on board with Ryan, or just with the colour of the car, just to confirm that, which it is. However, as you can see, DJ Danny is still having to battle with Scartrix. Could this be a really good call from Scartrix, being able to hold out on their medium compound tyres and potentially getting onto their minters? But
well, DJ Danny's had to concede about a full second to the Red Bull that's in front of him, because that was his time defending against the Haas that's behind him. So this has really helped out Ryan 97, and you wonder if this rain gets heavy enough, Ryan's not going to have any issue going into the pit lane and really losing many positions, because it's almost a 6.5 second gap now.
It's exactly that. Advantage Ryan, as you say, a really good drive from him. DJ Danny doesn't have to worry too much, because his opponent, HK, he's got a gap between him and Scartrix, in between him and HK. So at the moment, it's advantage Danny in this race to try and claw back his points in the championship to HK.
Well, we might not have DRS for much longer, but Scartrix has it now on DJ Danny. Looks to go to the inside line, has the inside line. Scartrix up into second position of the race. So a great move from him, and he's actually now gotten really the best of DJ Danny, who's lost out almost a second, but that from Ryan in the Red Bull to Scartrix behind him, 7.5 seconds. It's just extended by about 2 seconds. It's still beginning to trickle and sprinkle down. I don't know, as HRC has come into the pit lane, 40 intermediate tires. It's going to be interesting to see what his lap times are on track, because he's the first onto the inters. Take the gamble. We still have DRS enabled, and if you're not entirely sure, the DRS being disabled is typically the signal that the track is too wet for slick tires and it's time to head into the pit lane. But HK is not going to worry about that right now. He's going to worry about the Renault in front of him and get himself back up onto the podium. Trying to get past DJ Danny. He's closed into within 0.3 of a second with the Red Bull a little bit out of shape. Coming through the final corner, DRS wide open, wants to position himself on the inside line as DJ Danny defends that line extremely well, and HK is going to have to come back at him at another point in time as they are about to head down this long middle straight, and HK is certainly going to have a look at the Renault now. He peels to the outside. We've seen so many moves done on this line. We've seen these two bump wheels here yet again. I was just about to say we've seen them bump wheels once or twice, now 3 times. Could it be a 4th? HK just swiping in front of the Renault. Up in the 3rd position goes the Red Bull. DJ Danny just getting a little bit slippery out there. I think it might be time for the intermediate tires. There goes Maniac on the intermediates as well. You just wonder how wet is this track. It'll be very interesting to see if anyone does come into pit and when they come into pit as well.
Yeah, and just as we was talking about pitting, HRC was coming round. He has retired out in the pits. He didn't seem to be having a very good time of it, to be honest. He couldn't quite get the traction. However, as you can see, he's clearly retired in the pit lane. Maybe not the right time for them intermediates just yet.
Well, if you want an indication on exactly how fast the intermediate tires are compared to, say, the mediums, just take a look at Maniac, who has already dropped about a second to Ricardo in front of him, and make that now 1 second. As DJ Danny into the pit lane, picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding as well. Let's see what tires he goes on to. It is the intermediate tires for the Renault, so a gamble here from Renault, and his teammate is going to be right behind him. This could be a fantastic double stack. He's going to have a little bit of a penalty to serve too, apparently. Does Rimac. Intermediate tires on, and away he goes. With the intermediate tires and this late pit stop, the gamble that Renault needs to find themselves back on the podium once more. But that's gap from Ryan to Scartrix, 9.2 seconds now, and it's getting bigger and bigger every time we seem to mention it. DJ Danny is going to have Murphy right behind him. This could be interesting to see exactly the difference. Murphy running pretty wide through that turn there. You can begin to see the difference between the compounds, as now it looks like even more drivers into the pit lane. Maniac retiring from this session as well, so he makes up our 5th retirement, joining HRC, Miles, PJ, and Jamie 29 back in the paddock and having their races ended early. Kendo, question.
Yeah.
If you're Scartrix and you see Ryan dive into the pit lane, do you stay out?
Well, funny you should say that. Ryan has just dived into the pit. I would say no.
Scartrix has stayed out.
Yeah, that would have been my call, to be honest. Because as you were referring to, the DRS has not been disabled as of yet. And it looks like it's still the
time penalty for cutting that corner.
Oh yeah, but sometimes you do have to try and take that gamble, as you can see a few drivers have done. Ryan 97 and his teammate HK both in the pit for the intermediate tyres. Scartrix is trying to hold out for as long as he can. Will he do it?
10.8 seconds from Liverpool Ewan. Sir Sharks actually has pulled that gap. DRS open for the Racing Point. Will he go around the outside like we've seen so many others do? I don't think he will this time around, but he might look for the switchback because Liverpool Ewans ran extremely wide. Bang wheels heading through turn 8. they're still wheel to wheel, but Sir Sharks has the inside line through here. Liverpool Ewan just sticking to that outside line. They're still wheel to wheel as the rain begins to fall a little bit harder here around the Marina Bay circuit. And now Scartrix looks like he has the move done. But 3.8 seconds is the gap from Liverpool Ewan, and 3.6 seconds. So he's gained 0.6 of a second at the last time of asking, and he's gained even more time. So Scartrix 11.9 seconds ahead of Sir Sharks on the medium tires, electing not to stop because of the rain. Could go ahead, and with 5 laps to go, win this race.
It's a gamble, but it's one that could potentially pay off here tonight. Them medium compound tyres look like they are still the tyre of choice at the moment. Or should I say the fastest tyre of choice. But a lot of drivers have decided to try and play it safe and go onto them intermediate tyres. One of them drivers is HK.
To the intermediates, as you mentioned, we remember him back in Monza. He won the race by about a country mile in monsoons in Italy. So we know his ability in the wet, but it does seem as if Fairmoto is still pulling out time on the Red Bull. So you can just see that the sprinkles are just so intermittent. It's a very difficult choice between the mediums and the intermediates. Even though there's only 4 drivers on the mediums, it still might benefit them at the end of the day to stay on that compound.
Exactly that, because you've got to consider as well the fact that there is a couple of really long straights on Singapore, and that can be an advantage being on them slick tyres. And at the moment it seems to be paying off for the guys that are at the front of the grid who are on their medium compound tyres. They're trying to take advantage of that. And will it pay off? The Scartrix currently got just over 9.5 seconds. Will this traffic that he's about to come up to play any part of getting them distracted?
Well, Leclerc is going to have to battle and defend for yet another position. He's found himself back into 10th place courtesy of all the pit stops, but he has a racing point of James F1 trying to hunt for that lone point.
Scartrick pits.
Scartrick into the pit lane.
Certainly is.
That is, whoa. That could be an interesting call, but that will give now Sir Sharks the lead of this race, and now Sir Sharks with 3 laps to go will have to make the decision to come out or to stay out or to come into the pit lane. He seems to be alright on the mediums. Doesn't look like he's having big snaps of understeer or oversteer, but I'm pretty sure Scartrix soft tires for him. Liverpool Ewan in as well, soft tires for him. Just showing that the slick tires may still be the tire to be on.
It's exactly that. I'm scratching my head. The gamble that Scartrix is trying to do, Liverpool Ewan doing exactly the same tyre call. However, he's just picked up a time penalty for crossing the white line on the exit of the pit lane. That's not going to help him trying to move up the grid. However, Scartrix is definitely on a charge.
Well, Ryan 97 is about to lose out to Fairmoto behind him due to the fact that he's on the intermediate tires. This rain is not falling heavy enough for the intermediate runners, and Fairmoto might have a very, what we would have thought, unlikely look at Ryan 97, who stayed on the medium tires. Around the outside goes Fairmoto. You see there, it looks like we have a Mercedes that's crashed out before the bridge. The safety car will have to come out too late, so we continue to race on here. So that's both Mercedes out of this race, and Fairmoto has found, there you can see the twitching car of Matt's in the background. But Fairmoto, the choice to stay out on the mediums has paid off, and Fairmoto could be on for a very unlikely podium here this afternoon. And Ryan 97 into the pit lane. The intermediate gamble didn't work out for Red Bull. Scartrix has worked himself back into third place. It looks like, Kendo, the rain has completely stopped falling.
Wow, this race has had everything. The weather has certainly played its part in this race, and Scartrix is certainly on a charge. He's just under 2.5 seconds behind Fair Moto on them fresh, soft tyres. Can he catch up to Fair Moto, or even, as a long shot, catch up to Scartrix? That's the telling question.
Well, if you remember, Sir Sharks and Fairmoto found themselves in this position before, but it was actually all the way down in 15th and 16th where they both started the race, but now they find themselves in first and second. But for how long can Fairmoto hold the Haas at bay? 1.2 seconds is that gap for second place. This would be, no matter where he finishes, Fairmoto, if he finishes on the podium, he doesn't crash at all, this would be quite the result for the Williams driver, but he has 2 laps to try to hold on to that second position. His 11-lap old medium tires compared to Scartrix's fresh, soft tires. Can he keep him at bay as the Haas of, I believe that's Jamie Roddy, gets out of the way of this battle and does extremely well in doing so. And now 2.9 seconds, or correction, 0.29 seconds is the gap from Fairmoto to Scartrix. He will have DRS down the pit straight as they round the penultimate corner. You just see the amount of drive and grip that Scartrix has as he looks to go down the inside of the Williams, holds it well. Scartrix back up into second place after starting 6th, has found himself into second place. Sir Sharks, who started 15th, leading the race, and Fairmoto, who started right behind him in 16th, into third place. And the Liverpool Ewan, who we were concerned about his strategy to go and start on the soft tires of this race, has found himself in 4th place as well. And now everyone, well, mostly everyone, onto the soft tires. DJ Danny has set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:38.4 from the Renaults. Found himself down into 6th place, a position above where he started. And this is quite the race, not only for Racing Point and Williams and Haas, but just for the neutral as well, because this has been up and down, left and right. It has been fantastic to watch.
Yeah, it's been absolutely unbelievable. The fact that the weather has come and gone, the rain completely bamboozled some of the drivers, taking the gamble, going on to the intermediate tyres, which was clearly, as we can see now, the complete wrong tyre of choice. And with the final lap, Sir Sharks looks like he is going to get the win, with Scartrix clearly on a charge to try and get the fastest lap as well.
Well, Kendo, if it, I probably wouldn't surprise you if I said that HK and Danny had yet another battle, and HK came out on top in that one. So 5th and 6th for Red Bull. Unless DJ Danny has anything to say about it, that is how it will stand, because Ryan 97 finds himself nearly 17 seconds adrift from the Toro Rosso, but Scartrix has actually left, well, Sir Sharks has left Scartrix all the way about 10 seconds behind him as he comes into the middle sector for the final time. 1:37.9 from HK is the new fastest lap of the race. Sir Sharks coming through the hairpin for one final time. Just keep it on the track. And he's won his first race of the season. And what a race it's been. It reminds me a little bit of Germany from this past year, where it was just rain, then not rain, then rain, then not rain. But this one has had every little bit of action that you could potentially think of. But Scartrix, after starting all the way down in 15th position, probably didn't expect to be anywhere near the podium. Now, as he rounds the penultimate corner, is going to find himself on the top step of the podium. Sir Sharks wins here in Singapore. Scartrix is going to come in second place should time penalties go his way. Fairmoto could even find himself on the middle step of the podium if he picks up the pace here. Fairmoto finds himself in third place. Liverpool Ewan rounding the final corner now, holding fourth position. The Red Bulls, who took the gamble to go on the intermediate tires, it didn't pay off in the end. Ryan 97 and HK should come across the line and finish 5th and 6th. Kendo, this is, like I said, just one of the most ridiculous races I have seen in quite a minute.
It's been insane, but only thing that hasn't actually came out is a safety car. We had a couple of virtuals, but never had the full-on safety car. That's just mental. Fully expected a safety car there, to be honest with you.
As you saw there as they crossed the line, DJ Nanny jumped HK due to time penalties, and Ryback will finish 8th, so it'll go 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Red Bull, Renault. Murphy crossing the line in 9th. James F1 claiming that final last point will actually have the fastest lap go to his name as well. Finishing 10th, and the Ferraris, after starting 19th and 20th, finished 11th and 12th. And, well, that was quite the race to begin with. So we have well, typically we discuss things, but I guess we'll start talking about it now. Sharks, 15th you qualified. Did you expect to be anywhere near the podium, anywhere near the top 5? So what were the discussions between you and James to stay out on those tires and not switch to any sort of wet compound? Was it just saying, you know, these feel fine, or was it just a strategy call? You knew the rain was going to stop at some point. Well, Scartrix, over to you. It's been a while since we've seen you on the podium. Is he in here? I think he's in here.
Yes, sir, he is.
He is. Hello, Scartrix. How are you?
I don't even know if I got P3, to be fair.
You did. I believe you got P2, actually.
No, because I had a 5-second penalty as well.
Oh. Well, then you got P3.
Okay.
Nevertheless.
Yeah,
okay.
I had you 5.4 to me.
And then it was 11 seconds I needed. To Ewan. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
We'll just play out like Verstappen if you find yourself off the podium. But anyway, 4th podium of the season. It's starting to become a little bit of a regularity now, huh?
It's not a win, which should have came last week, if I'm honest. I had to, because I did medium. So yeah, but hopefully this season I can get a win. Hopefully. Yeah.
Well, you have about 2 more rounds to do it, and well, fair moto. I don't think I woke up this morning expecting to talk to you today, but you find yourself here, first podium of the season.
Yeah.
How does this one feel?
Oh, unbelievable, mate. I can't believe it. Qualifying. Oh, made a mess of it. I think I was P16 or 17, and yeah, I was hoping to maybe get a point or two, but no, can't help but walk away with 10. Definitely went my way today. Yeah, got lucky, and yeah, no, I said today I was going to gamble, and yeah, came away with it. Can't believe it.
Well, when you qualified in 16th, about 4 seconds off the pace, did you expect to be anywhere near the top 10, or was this just kind of a result of your strategy and just keeping it clean out of the wall, even though you did find yourself nose first into the wall, into the bridge?
Yeah, so no, qualifying my fastest time was on the hard compound. I didn't do a time on the medium, but yeah, probably could have got close to the top 10, I think, today in qualifying. But yeah, no, I sort of had it in my head. If I'm out of top 10, I'll start on the hard compound and yeah, see where we can get. And yeah, I'd like to dedicate the podium to Lando Noir. We all know he's had a bit of an incident, and yeah, we're all thinking of him today. But yeah, incredible. I can't believe it. P16 to P3. I think I'll retire now. I think I'll be vacant, final 2 races. But yeah, no, I can't believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, it really should. How do you 3 feel around Silverstone? I'm personally not a fan of the track, but
It can get in the bin.
Yeah. Well, personally, I'm going for another podium, to be honest. Yeah, 2 in a row. Like, I'll go for a win, I think. Now that I've got a podium, I'll go for a win. But, yeah.
well, Sharks, you can hang over your teammate's head that now you have a win and he doesn't.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Alright, well, for myself, for Kendo, Sir Sharks, your winner here around Singapore. Same time, same place, same day of the week, same people next week as we head to Silverstone with well, for the final 2 races of the season. And it should be a fantastic way to close things out, but we do have to close things out for today. And until then, we will see you next week.